Hello, back again to do another unboxing and review. Today we're going to be looking at this piece of night vision I got here. And this is a monocular, so you use one eye. And it is not only that, but it's also a digital camera and a video recorder. So for the still photos, and again we'll look at the spec sheet in a sec, but for the still photos, you get up to an effective 10 megapixels. It's probably with interpolation, but whatever, an effective 10 megapixels. And then for the video, it's 1080p, so full HD. So now let's talk about the different types of night vision, because what kind of night vision is this? So most people, when you say night vision, a lot of them think about like the Iraq War and whatnot, and they get that idea of that green, stereotypical green night vision, the one when you turn on the device, it makes that noise. Okay, this is not that. This is an IR illuminator. So for those who don't know, infrared is something that it's out of our spectrum that we can see with our human eyes. However, cameras can see it. So what we have here is basically an IR flashlight that shines out infrared, and although that's invisible to us, when we look through the camera, which can see it, we can now see what the IR illuminator is illuminating when we look through the camera. So just think of it like a flashlight that you have to look through a scope to see what you're shining it on. That's basically what you have here. Okay, so now let's go talk about price and availability, and who makes this. So who makes this? Not quite sure. This is a white label item or an unbranded generic, whatever you want to call it. Idea is someone makes it, sells it to somebody else. They go ahead and put their sticker on it from their store, and then they sell it as kind of like their product. And then of course they mark it up a little and they make some profit. That's how business works. Okay. So now if you want to get one of these, where would you look? Well, go online, and the best thing I can say to find this unit is to go ahead and type in night vision. You can put in monocular if you want, but then make sure to put in 1080p and 5x, which refers to the digital zoom. So if you put in those, you're most likely going to come up with a lot of different options, but this one you'll see is among them. And it has a pretty unique shape. Again, you're going to see it up close, but it won't be hard to pick it out from the list that you pull up on your computer or whatever. Okay? Alright, so now talking about price. I've looked at it, and I personally had this imported, so I got this a little upstream, shall I say, so I got a good deal on it. But if you're just getting it here through someone else, like here in the States, you're looking at anywhere, I would say, between $60 up to, well, let's be fair, it's more like between $50 and $70. So I think that's a pretty accurate range, somewhere in there. And it does come with some accessories and whatnot, and we're going to look at that in a bit. But let's take a quick first look around the box. Alright, so here we are. You've seen this already. There's a picture of the item. Here is the spec sheet. And I'm going to take a still photo of this so you can... Okay. Then on this side, some of the things you can use it for. Okay. The top of the box, which I think this is pretty helpful because this reminding people you can also use it in the daytime too, so it's not just night vision, which is a cool thing. Kind of multiple devices in one, right? Different uses. And then on the bottom, nothing. Okay. Alright, so overall impressions of the packaging. It's actually pretty good, especially since we're dealing with an unbranded item here, or white label. You're getting a pretty attractive box here, have the cool graphics, colors, and again, a lot of times in this kind of item that's meant to be resold by someone else, they don't usually bother giving you a good looking box. It's just a white box and they say night vision on it. So this is actually a little above and beyond, and especially like the fact they do give you a spec sheet there on the side. On top of that, let's just talk about the physical. It is pretty sturdy here. The bottom is even actually pretty sturdy. Notice how this does not push in, so there's probably like a floor under here, which helps protect the item. So it's structurally a good box as well. So good job on the box, but now let's get to the unboxing. Alright, so just get that there. There wasn't any real seal, just one of these little fold-in lock tabs to stop it from opening. Okay, so we have a kind of a repeat of the side here as the lid too. Sure. And then looking in here, you can see that we have all the items. It does look like we have bubble wrap too. So let's go ahead and pull things out. Okay. So here's the main unit. We'll come back to that. We have the USB cable. We'll look at that a little closer in a second. This was probably just to reinforce the bottom. Appreciate that. And then we have here, okay, this looks like a micro SD card, or what some people call trans flash cards. And then on the other end, it's a USB mail, USB-A mail. So you can plug this into your computer and then stick your memory card in here to assist in data transfer. Okay, we get a lens cleaning cloth, and then we do get an instruction manual, and then this was included. So right here, this is a 128 gig SD card with the full-size adapter. So between this and this, you have a lot of ways to transfer the images or video you take onto your computer. Okay, so now let's look at the speed class on this. This is speed class, looking close, 10. Speed class 10. And now we'll zoom in. Alright, so here we have, of course, USB-A, and then on this side we have Type-C. Cable also is pretty beefy. Okay, and I'm assuming this is data as well as charging, but yeah, okay. And then, well, of course, you know the lens cloth. We already kind of looked at this adapter here. We looked at the micro SD card and the full-size adapter, the lens cleaning cloth. Okay, yeah, the instructions. So we have 2 languages. Is it coming up here? Get close. So we have the user manual, and then of course some pictures and whatnot. And then, all right. So now for the main item. It comes in a little bag, soft bag here. So I guess you can consider that an accessory as well. And there we are. Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, looks like IR up, IR down, and then a plus and minus. So I guess increase infrared and also zoom, decrease and reduce zoom, or pan out or whatever, widen, and then a still photo. And then, okay, near and far. Oh, okay, yeah. So you can adjust just like a pair of binoculars, in this case monocular. You can turn this to focus. So it looks like we not only have focus, but we also have digital zoom on top of that. So alright. And then the side, I believe this may open. And, anyway, but in front of that you have the hand strap, just like a camcorder. And then there you are. You have your pretty big screen in there. Let me see if I can give you an idea how big the screen is. So there's my thumb. So that kind of gives you an idea. And you got a little hood here, I guess, to help you in the daytime or whatnot. Keep the sun from glaring out the screen, or the view, we call it, yeah, the screen. And then here, looks like our power button, menu and mode. And then on the bottom, place to screw it onto a tripod. And it does look like it has metal lined inside there, not just plastic, which increases its use, because plastic threads can get eaten up pretty well, so having that lined in with metal there is important. Down here, okay, yeah, that's our infrared emitter, I'm pretty sure. Okay, let's see if we can see the lens. guess it's in there. Yeah. But, okay, and then these pedals are actually rubber or silicone. But in a way, I guess that's not a bad idea. That way if you hit it up against the wall, they don't break off. They just bend in. So that's actually a pretty cool idea. Okay, and then on this side here, we do have these, in case you're wondering. This here, these are raised, these raise here, and then these are not such. So these go in and these stick out, so most of your grip's coming from down here. But these also do offer grip because, yeah, the pad of your finger can kind of go into these grooves, these vertical slots. So you do get some grip, but overall it's still smooth. Okay. And yeah, that's it for the device. So now let's check out this door. I'm pretty sure this opens up. I could read the directions, but I'm going to go with the hunch here. Yeah, alright. So that does open. Oh, okay. So if you look in there, there's your battery pack. This appears to be a spacer, a foam spacer. Let me see what's behind here. I'm curious. Okay, so there's your battery. If you're curious about what kind of battery it uses, there you are. Okay, and then it connects. It also looks like you have a quick disconnect here, so I suppose you could even maybe buy some extra batteries like this if you can find them, and then you could, I guess, charge up without having to plug in. You could just swap another battery in there. Alright. Yeah. Looks like you got it there. Anyway, so that's that. So let me go ahead and charge. Oh, I have to figure out where we charge it, right? Yeah, that's kind of important. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, so I found it. It's actually pretty well hidden. So it's actually not here. It's over on this side. If you notice, if you look closely here, you see how there's a little section there that's a kind of a different color than the rest. It's not quite as reflective right here. I believe that's a door. Ah, yes it is. So there you go. And there's where you not only charge it, but also where you put in the micro SD card. Okay, so now we've seen it. I'll go ahead and charge this up now. Alright, so this first photo here is actually taken with my smartphone camera. And I did this so you could get an idea of what the scene would look like if you were there. So this is obviously not taken with my telephoto lens on the phone, but just the main camera. So, alright, so this is what you'd see if you were there. But now let's go ahead and switch to the device in which this review is about. And we are going to stay with daytime mode, but just to show you. So there you go. Now this is with the zoom wheel turned all the way too far, so you can see actually just how much reach this thing actually has, and it's able to even with that reach keep the image pretty sharp. Yes, there's quite a bit of daylight out, but still, for as much actual zoom we have, not digital zoom, for actual zoom that we have, this actually can stay pretty clear even out to that distance. Now let's go ahead and just quickly look back at that, what it looks like. Smartphone camera not zoomed in, and back to night vision camera zoomed all the way in. Pretty impressive. Now, since we're actually talking about zoom, let me just show you something I didn't even think this device could do, but apparently it can. So here we go. This is me taking a picture of obviously these flowers. I'm standing about maybe 2 feet away max, and I took this. So, and of course this is with the a zoom wheel turned all the way to near. So yeah, maybe not to the level that of a macro shot from your fancy $1,000 plus smartphone, but still pretty impressive for something that's so focused. Get it focused. So focused on doing zoom out. This is pretty good. Okay, now let's go to what most of you are here to see, and that is the night vision capabilities of this device. So here is a photo. Now this is again back to using my smartphone. And I wanted to give you an idea what it would look like if you were standing there in this scene. So this is taken with my smartphone. I already said that. But this has all the
electronic wizardry pretty much turned off, or as much as you can with a modern smartphone. So the HDR is turned off, the scene optimizer is turned off, and this is what I was able to capture. So you can see that there is some light coming over my shoulder there, and there's also what remains of sunlight there just over that horizon. So there is some light, but not a lot. And if you wanted to identify what that brown object is in there, right in the middle, pretty much of this picture, you would maybe have, you could kind of gather, or but you wouldn't know for sure, right? So now let's go ahead and switch over to the actual device of which this review is about and turn on the night vision. There you go. So now you can see what it is. Yes, we are zoomed in. The illuminator is doing a good job. Keep in mind the distance. I'll go quickly click back to what it looks like with the smartphone camera. And then now back to the night vision. So you can see. We do have a bit of zoom, and the illuminator is doing a good job even at that distance. And keep in mind, this is the lowest level of the illuminator. You can step it up if you need to, but in this case it wasn't necessary, for we can see exactly what that thing is. It is someone's furniture that they decided to just get rid of, just drop it off somewhere away from the home. And yeah, so I guess they saved some money on having to get rid of it the right way, right? Anyway, so that is it for the photos. Now we're going to go ahead and jump over to its video capability. All right, so here's the same video you already saw. I just wanted to point out a few things. There is no microphone, so it's not that I forgot to turn on the volume. It just doesn't have a mic, so you're not going to get any sound. The other thing is that I am holding this. It's not on a tripod, so there's a little bit of shake, but the choppiness of the cars moving is primarily on the device's ability, not on me. So there you go.
All right, so back inside here, just wanted to go over a few things and then we'll get to the conclusion. So a couple things about operating this device that I should point out. First of all, let's talk about the screen on the back. So this screen is a nice size, it works well. This hood out here is actually really helpful. It keeps the sunlight off the screen so you can see what you're doing, and it doesn't bleach out the screen. So that's all a plus. However, one thing I noticed is one of those days it was sunny and I was using this, I had on a pair of those auto tinting sunglasses, so the more sunlight they get, the darker they get. And while wearing those, I could not see what was on the screen. And as soon as I took off the glasses, I could see the screen perfectly fine. So I'm not sure if it's just the pair of sunglasses I was wearing or all sunglasses, but my guess is there's something about the polarization combination between the two that just led this to looking black inside. Again, that's not the fault of this device. It's just something to keep in mind. Okay, now the other thing I want to talk about is right up here, the IR emitter. And you may be curious, like, what does this thing look like if you are looking at it, someone operating it? Say they were pointing at this at you, and it was dark out. Would you be able to see them? Now, this is where we get into IR emitter versus true, in air quotes, night vision. And since this is an IR emitter, I'm not sure if it goes for all IR emitters, but at least for this one, there is actually some visible light coming out of this. So what it looks like is this thing here is basically glowing red. Now, not to the level of like laser pointer red or anything like that, but it is notably glowing red. Kind of think of it more like a status LED, like you might have like on your, like, I don't know, one of your electronic devices in your home entertainment center, that kind of red light. It's not piercing, but it's obviously noticeable, especially if it's dark out. So my guess is that this is being assisted by a little bit of visible light as well as all the IR. Maybe that helps give it the range necessary, whatever. But the point is that if you were if someone was using this and pointing it at you, you would be able to see them if it was dark enough, because this would be shining red. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Okay, with those out of the way, let's go ahead and get to a quick disclaimer, and that is to say my use of this item is limited to what was necessary to make this video so far. So I obviously will continue using this, but at least up till now, my use of it's been fairly limited, and the device has been babied. So I've been carrying it around in like a little over-the-shoulder satchel, so it hasn't like dropped and hit the concrete or being banged into a tree or anything like that. So my lens is still in good condition, and the screen's not cracked, and you get the idea. So how robust is this? I'm not sure. It feels like it's holding well. together pretty well, but again, I haven't been abusing it. Okay, so now let's get to the conclusion, and would I recommend this device? And that's a simple yes. First, let's talk about the device on its own merits. It does what it says. It actually does a little more than I thought. Yes, not having audio might be a downer for some people, and also, as we saw, the video can get kind of choppy. But if you're using this, my guess is that those aren't your priorities, right? You're trying to see something in the dark and maybe snap a picture of it at distance, and this does that just fine. So, also, now let's talk about the price. I personally got this for a really, really good deal. So obviously that helps if it be a great, what I'm getting for the money is even a greater plus here. But I can't say what you'll get it for because, again, especially since this has to be imported, how much you pay is basically going to be based on who you get it from and how long it takes to get here and all that good stuff.